Now we want to take a live look at Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Not the prettiest of days, as we've mentioned earlier. A Delta flight had to make an unplanned stop this morning. This after flight crews reported a smoky odor in the cabin. Delta has confirmed that the flight landed at Charlotte Douglas around 7:45 in the morning. We're told nearly 120 people were on that plane. The flight tracking service FlightAware shows the plane took off from New York City about an hour and a half earlier. The airline says the plane was originally headed to Atlanta. Delta did release a statement apologizing to travelers, saying, quote, "The safety of our customers and people comes before everything else at Delta," end quote. WBTV did reach out to Delta. They did not say what caused the smoky odor. The airline noted that the technicians are looking into this.